What's up, nerds? So, if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you'll notice that right here in this corner of the screen, there's a Hagrid's hut right there. So, I've been working on it for a little bit of time now, just because, trying to balance out life and this YouTube channel, my hobby, and, trying to add in other hobbies like this. But I started making my diorama. It's a 1/12 scale. I got my inspiration from Darkest Raven Designs. You can check out her channel. I'll leave a link in the iCard section also, and probably in the description down below. Before I get started on showing you how I got to making this and everything, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is constantly changing up their algorithms, and small channels like myself usually get put to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So, like I said, Chantel over at Darkest Raven Designs, she inspired me to do this diorama. And I'll tell you what, I don't throw anything around the house anymore because I'm like, hey, I could use this with this milk carton for something. And it really was great. My inspiration for this, I'll put some pictures up of my inspiration for this. This is a Hagrid hut that sits on the ground, not one that's lifted up onto rocks and stuff. It's just I think that that one would have been harder. I don't know. I just didn't. I only did the outside also. It's mostly made of cardboard, and you'll see the process through there. So without further ado, I'm going to let you guys check this out. Here we go. So sorry for the angle, guys, but this is me. I'm drawing out my Hagrid's hut. I had to use two pieces of cardboard for the front, and I just put the front door kind of in the middle. And I didn't measure anything, which I regret not measuring anything. But I had to put my phone down a couple of times and everything. But this is me drawing. And once I had the front door, then I started to work on the hut, because there's two like little huts and everything. And so for the second hut, I actually had one piece of cardboard, and I drew. I'm sorry that you can't really see. That's my drawings. It's very rudimentary. I wish I had done it differently. There's the front door, and there's the two windows, and I was gonna, and then I attached them, and then that is the other side piece. But yeah, I had to connect those together. But here I am, cutting out the pieces. I hadn't eventually had to put down my phone because I couldn't hold my phone and cut at the same time. I should have set it up a little bit better. I recorded this with my phone because I I couldn't do both at the same time. So, but it was a little difficult. I had to like stomp down my foot. So this is me. I had to get rid of that footage because I had to stop and put down my camera. So here's what it looked like. That is the window right there of the smaller hut. And then this is the full big hut, but I had to put it in two pieces. And then eventually glue it together. And then I, bent them together. And this is the beginnings of it. This footage is very rudimentary. And that front part is so I could connect this. So I had something to glue the roof down to. And so there it is. That is the hut without anything on it. That's the very first thing that I had to go on and there's the windows. And I didn't start to cut those out because I knew I would have to cut something because I needed to fit on my shelf, which was only, I believe, 11 inches. So there it is with the roof. Now that one I screwed up gluing in the top of the roof because I did have to cut it out a little bit because it's a 1/12 scale, but I had to cut out the roofs, and it was kind of like a cone shape, and then I kind of slid it in through. So that one, I didn't cut it correctly when I put it in, and so therefore it kind of was a little bit tipsy when I glued it down. But eventually, you'll see I did have to cut that off. So there is a gap in between there. So that is it. And then this is me trying to make those little cone shape things at the top. And I used some cardboard. And here I am trying to glue it down and cut it. And I was going to use these sticks to put in the top, but I decided not to do that. So there it is with that. And then you can see I had to cut off a piece of the smaller hut. And that is the first iteration before I started adding all the stuff on to it. I think that right here it looks decent. So then I started using egg cartons for the brick. And so this is me. I'm cutting out a lot of egg cartons. I cut a lot of egg cartons, and I only use the top and then this little side thing because the bottom had too many like ridges and stuff, and I had to do that. And so here I am just cutting it out, which was kind of fun. I mean, preparing these things is very fun, but at the same time, it is all time consuming. Um, what are you going to do? So here I am cutting out egg cartons. And I'm just cutting them into different squares. It doesn't matter. Because, I always looked at Hagrid's hut as he was. All right. So here I am, and I'm using some uh, wall plaster, stuff you'd fill in holes on your wall. And I'm using that to look like it. I'm using one of my kids' knives. They're like children's cutlery to do it. But so this is me just, and I'm putting on the bricks. I'll do a close up in a little bit of it, but here is me just putting it on. And I slowly but surely work through every single wall. And here's a close up of me doing the wall. And I just use different stuff. And the reason I wanted to do this, I wanted to look like that the white stuff, that wall filler. I wanted to look like I believe it's called mortar in between bricks when you build a house and stuff. So I wanted it to look like someone had actually built it. And I tried to do it, piece at a time. And this was fun, but at the same time, it was very time consuming to put on all these bricks. It was kind of like Tetris, putting on all these bricks, you know. And then what pieces didn't fit, I made them fit. I'll tell you what, I was like, this is gonna fit. So here it is, and I had to switch it up because that stuff I couldn't tell when it was drying, but this stuff was pink, and when it started to dry, it would turn white. So I was like, okay, this is good because I can tell when I need to hurry it up. And see, you can kind of see the smaller parts are the parts where there's not too much is starting to dry up, which is cool. It's like whatever. But yeah, so here I am filling in the spaces. And when you do this stuff, you're going to get messy, a little bit messy. I used a lot of baby wipes to clean up my fingers from this, but it was worth it. It was super fun. I enjoyed it immensely. So here it is, the bricks all done on the walls and everything. So then I'm going to work on the roof. And so what I did here was I just put glue down, and I just took these little pieces of thin cardboard. I believe some of them were the backs of cereal boxes. They were just cereal boxes cut up into little pieces. And I just glued those down into rows, kind of like you would with regular shingles. And these had no specific shapes either. Um, they just, some of them were small. And I just did this all along the roof. until, I got to the point where, it was good. And I did each section at a time. I didn't do, like right here, I'm doing that one, like it's not a wall, but that one piece of the roof. And I just keep going up and filling it because I was going to put little shingles in the middle where there's that little crease. Oh, I started using a glue gun because the Elmer's glue was not working. I mean, this stuff kept falling off when I would try to glue something else. So I had to use a glue gun, which worked out also really, really well. So there it is. And this is me trying to finish those in-between shingles, which I'm gluing on right now. And for that, I just I just went up the little creases of the hut, and here I am just doing that. And again, it was really fun and a little therapeutic at the same time. So here I am on the little hut, taping or gluing, sorry, the shingles up. We'll call it the spine. I don't know what it's called, what the little thing is called, but up, and you can see the little strings from the glue gun. Oh, here I am putting in those little I don't know what they're called. The smoke stacks in the roof. I made them out of cardboard also. I just cut some triangles and then I put those on 3 parts of the house because I believe there's 4 of them total on Hagrid's hut. But because this was going on such a small shelf, I had to then make only 3. But from the picture that I chose, that I did, I think I did right. So there I am putting them on. There they are. And so now I go to painting, and painting was super fun. I'm painting the house or the walls part. I'm painting those gray with acrylic paints. I used acrylic paints on the whole thing. And I'm just doing I believe it was shoot, I can't remember what gray it was. So this is me working on the door. So what I did was I measured out how much I need. That piece of cardboard next to me is the size of the door. And I'm cutting out the little slots of the door because I didn't want to come into little pieces. So I'm making it look like he cut it out. Now this is the back of the door because at the first moment I thought I was going to also decorate the inside, but that I'll save for another video. So here I am cutting out the little slots for the back of the door to make it look like, somebody helped build this door in real life kind of thing. And yeah, so I'm just kind of like measuring it out, and then when I'm done, I'll glue it on the back. And see if you look, I'm there we go. And then I cut out some pieces. Now, and what I used for that was balsa wood. I also used for balsa wood this. Now, for the windows right there, I used a cookie sheet, but here I am using balsa wood. I'll go back to the windows in just 2 seconds. I used balsa wood for the windowsills also. Balsa wood is very easy to cut. It's very like thin and pliable and everything, and it's very easy to cut. In fact, too easy to cut. So for the windows, I use that plastic that I used. It's from the bottom of a cookie. I don't want to say Oreos because I can't remember exactly which cookies it was from, but it was from an Oreo thing. And and here I am measuring the windows just to make sure that they fit in there to see how well I could do it. But that's balsa wood that I'm using right there. And here I am painting the balsa wood brown for the windowsills. Just, trying to get them nice and brown. And again, I use acrylic paint. I think I used chocolate brown. I can't remember exactly. So for the door, I also did in cardboard, and I uh and I used a glue gun to glue that in. You did use balsa wood for the little slat underneath, and all that's cardboard right there. And there's the door, which is made out of balsa wood. And I was going to use this stuff to make the thing to make it look like stone. But as you can see right there from the top, I put a small strip of thin cardboard to cover up the little slats in there in between the cardboard. So this is for the top of the chimney. I measured it out because I was using a paper towel roll that I had kind of put into like a square, had folded into a square. And then I measured that out so it would wrap around it like that. And I just cut out some small squares for the holes for the chimney stack and everything. They didn't need to be perfect just because I you wouldn't really be seeing and / paying attention. Then I cut this out. And now I'm going to do the same thing that I did with and that's going to sit right there as far as the roof goes. But I'm going to use the stairs right there. I used this great stuff, and I shouldn't have done it. I never used it before, but I seen people had used it for stone, and I wanted to do that for it, but I had to X-nay that and cut it all off. So here I am. I'm covering the chimney in that's wall filler that I had used for the bricks on the house. And I'm covering that with the wall filler. Not the whole thing. I did side by each side, one at a time. But I'm putting the wall filler on. You can't really see it. I filmed this badly. This portion at least. And so I'll switch angles in just 2 seconds. So here I am, and I covered it with the wall filler. And then I added the bricks on one at a time, like I did with the house. And the chimney is not something that turned out the best, in my opinion, but I think maybe I just got a really thin, flimsy paper towel roll, and I probably should have picked a different one, but at the time I only had the one. I should have just waited and everything, but tomato. So here I am. And then this is the side of the doors, which to save on time, I just used, I believe, Gorilla Glue to put this on. I shouldn't have done that either. I should have used that to wall filler also. What are you going to do? So then here I am, and this is me I used Gorilla Glue to put this on. And again, I wish I had not used Gorilla Glue in the wall filler. So here I am trying to cover up my mistake by using that great stuff because I had never used it before. And so here I am, I'm putting that wall filler on and just kind of smoothing it out to kind of make it look like stone. It doesn't look 100% like stone, but it's like whatever. I tried my best. So here I am painting the roof. Yay. The painting part is very therapeutic. Like I enjoyed it very much. I went through and filled in all the cracks from the roofing, because if you look, some of those cracks, you can see the white and everything. It's not really white, but you can see it, and I had to go through and fill those in once I was done painting all of it. And this was really fun. I really had a lot of fun doing this whole thing. Just painting it, and I got to figure out a lot of stuff about colors and what it is I was going to do and all that stuff. But yeah, so here I am painting. Now here I am, I'm using a lighter shade of gray, and I'm going up it to make it look like maybe that it's just worn, kind of like rain, fell a lot, and So I had to close my closet. Yeah, just like its rain had torn, like made it look older and everything. So plus I think it adds a little bit more depth to it. So now moving on to the ground. For this, I just took Elmer's glue and I just spread it along this because there wasn't that much there. So I would say use water and glue, but here I just used just plain old glue and I put that's coffee grounds that I dried out and everything. And then again, here's the other part. And I just spread the Elmer's glue all across it with a Q-tip. And then once it was all across it, I then put more coffee grounds. And I love how I'm using my kids like ladybug spoon. Anyways, but I use a lot of their coloring. And then I just dumped it all off. Then I was like, then what I did, this is alcohol mixed with water. And I just sprayed that on there. And then once that was done, I then took water and glue and I covered it with I went over all of it and then I just covered it with glue to let it dry. And then just sprinkled on a little bit more dirt so that way it got so once that was done, I painted on some green for the moss. Now I will eventually put on real moss for it, but this is just me painting on the moss. It looks a lot greener than it really is, but yeah. So I just kept painting on. First I started with like a darker a darker green. And I just and I used reference pictures for this because at first I wasn't going to put that much moss, but some pictures had a lot of moss, some pictures had just a little bit of moss on the roof, and I was like, you know what, let's just go with a full bunch of moss because I believe Hagrid would have a lot of moss. Who knows? But yeah, so here I am, and then I started adding a little bit of lighter green, and it was fun working with a lot of different colors. So now I did a mixture of glue and water, and then I sprinkled on the moss, which I bought, I believe on Amazon. And it's just a bunch of different colors, like a bunch of different green colors and some brown in there. And again, here, this is water and glue mixed together. And then I just put on the moss. I did use like a kitchen grate to put on the moss eventually, but here it is, the first layer of it. It doesn't look as great right now as the finished product, but that is the first layer. And eventually I'll do this moss on the side and everything. But that is the moss for layer number 1. I ended up doing like 3 layers. So to add on a little bit of fun, I grabbed some pumpkins. I bought these off Wish, because I didn't want to make them. But I bought them off Wish and it was super easy and everything. And I was just going to plant them in different spots, just to make it look more like Hagrid's. And then I also found this barrel that I had gotten from an action figure. And I was like, you know what? I'm never going to use this for anything else. So I might as well just use it for this. So, I'm just going to use stuff like that to kind of liven it up a little bit. And there is the finished product, you guys. We got Fang over there. It turned out pretty well. I'm happy with it. It's going to sit on my shelf for a while until I finish the next diorama. But there's Hagrid and the pumpkins and everything, and there's Buckbeak flying in the background. I'm really excited to work on the next one. I hope you guys really enjoyed all right, so tell me, how did I do, guys? Did I do okay? Did I not do okay? It's cool if you say I didn't do that great of a job. I'm really interested in doing this as a hobby. Getting into more Harry Potter stuff. The reason I did this is because I had that shelf right there, and I have a lot of Harry Potter action figures. So I was like, why not, start this diorama making thing, 1/12 scale, because the figures are like usually 6 to 7 inches. And I was like, and it'll be super fun. I'll have fun with it. Hopefully you guys will have fun with watching me do it and everything. And my office is Harry Potter inspired. So I was like, let's do this. And yeah, so tell me, how did I do again? You can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next diorama video because there will be more. You guys have a good day. Alakazoo. Hey guys, if you like this, go ahead and check out my main channel at Geek What, link in the description down below. If you want to help support me even more, you can check out my merch store, also in the link down below. Thanks so much, I really appreciate it.